Welcome back to the show. As you can see, we have switched locations. We are now inside the beautiful Lee Pavilion at the Citadel Theatre, and I'm joined by Dr. Paula Robson. She's the principal investigator for the Tomorrow Project. So thanks so much for coming on the show. Please tell our viewers, what is the Tomorrow Project?
Okay, well, the Tomorrow Project, I usually start with some sobering statistics. We know that 1 in 2 Albertans are going to develop cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 4 of us are going to die from it.
Wow.
And just to make that really personal, what that means is that you or I are going to get a diagnosis of cancer, and that's really awful. And, you know, to put it more personally, we all know that someone who is a relative or a friend or a loved one who's died from this disease, and it's really hard. But one of the things that we are trying to do is understand more about the causes of cancer in our population. And that's what the Tomorrow Project is about. We're trying to enrol 50,000 Albertans from all over the province who are going to stay with us for a long period of time. We'll track their health over decades and try and figure out why some people develop cancer and why some don't at the end of the day. And hopefully, if we can find some clues to that, we can learn how to prevent this disease in the future.
Wow. First of all, Alberta compared to other provinces, do we have a higher rate of cancer here?
No, we actually don't. We actually have a rate that's pretty similar to Canada as a whole, but the interesting thing about cancer rates is that there's a huge east-west gradient. So people in the Atlantic and Maritime provinces actually have a higher rate of cancer than those of us in the west, and those in BC have the lowest rates in the country. So that's actually one of the reasons why we think there's something going on in people's lifestyles or something in the environment that could actually be changed to influence people's risks of cancer.
And when you say 1 in 2, and you really caught me with that one because I'm feeling a little terrified right now. We're talking all forms of cancer.
Yeah, we're actually not even including skin cancer in that. So that doesn't include non-melanoma skin cancer. We're talking about others other than skin. So that's 1 in 2 of us will get a diagnosis in our lifetimes. Okay. And we need to try and understand why that is. You know, anyone who's had a loved one or a relative who's had a cancer diagnosis, the first question is, why me? And that's what the Tomorrow Project is trying to do. We're trying to understand why me, why certain people and not others.
You're looking for 50,000 Albertans. How many do you have so far?
We currently have about 22,500 people have signed up for this project. So we're absolutely thrilled with that. And I really want to thank everyone out there who's signed up for this project and believes in the fact that we can work towards a cancer-free future.
So for our viewers at home that are a little interested in this already, they want to get involved. Can you explain how you're going to be tracking people and what you're looking for from the people that sign up for this?
So first of all, what we're looking for are people who are aged 35 to 69 who've never had a personal diagnosis of cancer other than non-melanoma skin cancer. And what we'll ask you to do is fill in a questionnaire, which is kind of like a broad baseline, a little bit about your health and your family's health and a little bit about activity and tobacco use, etc. And then what we'll do is send you out a questionnaire every 3 or 4 years or so just to keep following up and keep figuring out what's changed with you. And then what we do is we build the layers of information over time. We put all of that together, and when some people will develop cancer and others won't, we'll analyse all of that to try and figure out where the differences are. The other thing that we're doing is we're running mobile study centres around the province, and one that we are taking to Vegreville quite soon, I think it's 7th to 10th of May, is if you're interested, you can come into one of our study centres there in Vegreville, and we'll ask you for a blood sample and a sample of urine, and we'll also take some basic measures. And the reason for getting blood samples is that there are things in blood that we can analyse that we can't get from questionnaires. So that's what we're at currently.
How many people do you hope to see in Vegreville?
We'd absolutely be thrilled to see 150 to 200 people in Vegreville if people can come out to us. But we understand that, you know, people are busy. But this is 1 hour or 2 hours of your time. We're not looking for money. We're just looking for some time and some faith that we can work towards a cancer-free future.
And this is so important. We all have someone that we know that have passed away or have been diagnosed with cancer. And with 50,000 people, you're expecting with 1 in 2 to develop cancer that 25,000 people just from your study will probably end up. So the results from studying them over decades is going to be phenomenal and so important.
Yep. And you know, the other thing that I do want to let people know is that we've also joined with similar projects in British Columbia, Ontario and the Atlantic provinces in Quebec to build an even larger study that will have 300,000 people in it, and that will really give us the power to understand what's going on to impact cancer risk in our population.
As the principal investigator for this project, what is your role?
My role is I design designed the questionnaire, and some people will look at it and say, wow, you should have been asking this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
But this is a baseline. We're going to come back in the future and ask for more information. So we'll be looking for more information on diet, physical activity, environment, occupational exposures, and many, many things that we think may play a role in risk of certain cancers. So my role is basically to keep up with the science behind all of this and to make sure that everything is done to the utmost quality and with the highest integrity.
And when you say 35 to 69,
Yep.
why not younger than 35?
35 to 69 is actually a very interesting age group. We know that in the 35 to 64 year group that cancer will kill more people in that age group combined than heart disease or stroke or accidents. So it's a really neat group to study. The other thing is that generally by the time people get to the age of 35, they're fairly stable. They're not running around to college or university or whatever. And one of the important things with this study is to be able to keep in touch with people over time, because that's where the power will come from. It's the building of the layers of information over time, and that's why we're looking at that age group in particular.
Is there any other important information that people should know about for this project that will really help them get off their couch, come to Vegreville, or sign up in any way they can?
You know, the interesting thing with this is cancer's really complicated. It's probably over 100 different disease states, and we need to know so much more about it. A similar study like this was started in 1949 in a town called Framingham in Massachusetts, and it looked at heart disease. And funnily enough, we're looking back at it now thinking, why, we didn't know that. We didn't know that blood pressure increased risk of stroke until Framingham came along, studied people for a long period of time, and realized that high blood pressure increased risk of stroke. So we now treat people for high blood pressure, we monitor them, and we've decreased the risk of stroke in many, many people. Similarly, we didn't know that high cholesterol was a risk factor for heart disease, and now we do. So, you know, these are things that we now know that we almost take for granted, but it took a long-term study in many thousands of people, followed over a period of time, to understand how we could actually help people reduce their risk of heart disease and stroke. And we're hoping that we can do the same for cancer.
So if you sign up or if you don't, this project's going to benefit everyone.
Yep.
So why not sign up?
Absolutely. And, you know, we say that probably it won't benefit those that sign up right now, but it's going to benefit future generations. And, you know, the Albertan spirit, I think, and the volunteer spirit that exists in this province, I think people are really good at helping out when there's no benefit to themselves. So I'd really like to encourage people to sign up for a project like this.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Paula. And if people want more information, where can they go to find more about the Tomorrow Project?
Okay, so we can do it by phone. So we can phone toll free on 1-877-919-9292. Or if you want to contact us by the internet, you can get us on www.in4tomorrow.ca, and that's in4tomorrow.ca. Alternatively, you can send us an email, and that's tomorrow@albertahealthservices.ca.
Excellent. Thank you. We hope to see all of you signing up. Dr. Paula, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back after this.